Transformation Tuesday, February 3rd of Style by Stevie, and we are here with the beautiful singer and actor Emily Nolan. Welcome to the Dollhouse. It is such a pleasure to finally meet you.
Hi, nice to meet you guys. So happy to be here.
Yes, 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 yes. So before we kick off this convo, how has the new year been for you so far, 2025? And how did you ring in the new year, 2026?
Oh, it's been really good actually. I went to Connecticut with my boyfriend and we spent New Year's with his family. And then I've just mostly been preparing because I have a gig soon in upstate New York. I'm doing Amelie, so I'm really excited for that and I've been preparing for that and stuff. And yeah, it's been very busy.
And speaking of New York, it's so crazy you mentioned that. My colleague, Frederick Douglass, shout outs to Frederick Douglass. Now's the time. We did a show last week and it was amazing. It was over 2 hours. And he's in Rochester, New York. And shout outs to you, Chef Sky. Good afternoon. If you're just coming in, welcome. Happy Transformation Tuesday. We didn't do a show yesterday, but welcome back. We are here with Emily Nolan. Now, it's so crazy. You've mentioned shows and music. We always figure out, growing up, what we want to do in our careers and in our lives, passion. And that inspired you growing up musically. So, who were your top five artists that have influenced you growing up musically?
Ooh, okay. My first one is definitely Liz Alpine. She is a singer-songwriter, and I'm very much a lyricist, so I really admire lyrics, and hers are just like so truthful to her. Just like I don't like just like I listen to her lyrics. I'm like, how does someone come up with that? Like, it's crazy. So I've always like listened to Alpine, and she was recently on Broadway too, with
Oh,
Miami, Georgia. What was the show called? Oh my God, what was it called? It was like about a mine or something. I literally don't know, but she was on Broadway, so I was really impressed. um, God, I would also say, um, oh my God, that's so hard. um, I would say Lin-Manuel Miranda. I grew up loving Hamilton, so I really love that musical, and that got me into like a bunch of other musicals as well, and then that eventually got me into like being a musical theatre student. So I really admire his writing, and who he is as a person. Like he has a lot of like interviews and stuff, and I really like his personality. So Lin Miranda. Um, I would also say Yaba. I got into her when I was a little bit older, but the same thing, like a lot of her songs are very raw and truthful, which I really enjoy. And it really touches me. What was I going to say before? Who else? I would definitely say, um, can't think of a really good singer-songwriter I like. Kevin Atwater. He's a bit of a lesser known
ah,
musician. I love his songs. Like oh my God, I found him on TikTok and I haven't went back since. Like he's so good. And one recently as well is what's his name? Another one I found on TikTok, a really good place to find new musicians and new artists would be oh my God, what's his name? Oh my God, I can't believe I'm blanking. Hang on. Oh my God, I don't know. I'm gonna have to choose a different one on it. Let's see. Last one would definitely be Philip the Show. I really like Philip the Show.
goodness. And there's so many out here. There's so many that have inspired people to write,
Mhm.
to sing, to produce behind the scenes as well too, because you have so many artists out here, like you said on TikTok, that are just coming up that have done a lot of covers and things. And They're trying to figure out, okay,
Mhm.
what part of Emily do I want to navigate in? You know, do I want to be a part of this? Do I want to be a part of this? So for you, writing, what is writing like for you as a lyricist? And where did you pull that inspiration from?
I would say writing is like based off of my experiences, like my truth. And it's like sometimes like I'll have an experience and like the first thing I want to do is write about it because it's like my outlet. Um, Another way I write sometimes is like if something is kind of like at the back of my head and it's like constantly on my mind, like very subconsciously, and then it's not so subconscious anymore. Like a way to let that out is to write about it. So I write a lot about like my experience with like I grew up with an eating disorder, so a lot of it is about like my relationship with my body and also like things with relationships, like navigating relationships, especially so far away from home. Um, and like, you know, becoming like a judge of character for people I want to be romantically involved with, that kind of thing. So yeah, a lot of my stuff.
Shout outs to Faith is the Substance. Shout outs to my girl. Make sure y'all go and subscribe to her channel. And they're static. Can you guys hear it now? Can y'all hear me now? Give me a thumbs up if you can. Or some green hearts if you guys can hear me now. Make sure you guys thumbs up as you come in on the way to get that algorithm going to let everybody know that we're out here. And while we're on with Emily, I'm going to be sharing the live myself to let everybody know that we are on. So you guys can also go and hype up as many videos as you want to here on YouTube. So you guys feel free to do that most definitely. Okay, is it going now? Can y'all hear me? There you go with those green hearts. Shout outs to my girl, Chef Sky. Let me go ahead and share this also with my boss lady, Mickey Solar, who is responsible for this amazing, beautiful talent here, Emily Nolan. So make sure you guys go and check her. We're going to be getting into all of the things that she loves in her career as a songwriter, as a lyricist, as a actress because she also acts as well too. And I see more of my colleagues are coming in. So shout outs to Faith is the Substance. Shout outs to my colleague Frederick Douglass, who you guys enjoyed on that panel with me last week. Make sure you guys go and check that out. We had so much fun. That was a 2-hour show, and you guys are still messaging me about it. Shout outs to my brother K Tukes, host of the K Tuke Spot. Make sure you guys please go and check him out as well too. We are here with Emily Nolan, and we are just talking about her musical aspirations. Now, you sang a lot about love and relationships, and I know for a lot of artists, they pull from heartache, they pull from falling in love, being in love. How's it for you? Do you find that balance to write about love and your relationships?
Well, I would say the first thing would be like I don't write about things like everything, especially like such a relationship that I'm currently in. Like I won't write all about that. Like I like to reflect on situations and write about that. Um, but there was this one instance last year where my current boyfriend, I wrote a song about him because it was like a really tough time. And I showed him, and he really thought that was a new experience. I don't think I've ever shown anyone in person songs that I've written about them. So that was a really lovely experience. But yeah, the balance is something I'm still figuring out and still learning. But I find that a lot of my relationship and love songs come like after the fact. Like when I've reflected on everything, looking back on it.
And for singers, the topics of what you're in vary. And when I was listening to some of your covers, Emily, your sound is your own sound and is so unique. And you remind me so much of another female artist, but she does jazz, Lindsay Webster, and you have to go and check her out. She is dope, and you two sound almost parallel, and I'm just like, wow. It's soulful, it's sultry, and you're singing about love, you're singing about relationships, you're singing about all of these things. And with you having a background in theater, I'm pretty sure Lindsay, she does as well too, has a background in theaters. And it's all about pulling from that place. because music, me and my brother K Tukes, we just did a whole. We were talking about because the Grammys was over the weekend. You guys know, we were talking about our favorite artists and how Brandy's one of my favorites. I love Brandy, and I what I love about her is her cadence. I love how she knows how to hold those notes, those abilities, and you know how to do it as well too. And as a singer and as a songwriter, being able to be in the studio, being able to produce, and especially being an independent artist, and let alone a woman, Emily, girl, you are on it. So, and we don't really see a whole lot of women writers in the business. It's changed now. And especially now in the day and age of TikTok and social media, because at that time, to your top five that you mentioned, some of those artists that you mentioned didn't have social media at their fingertips available at that time in order to be able to get their music out there to the people.
Mhm.
So, what advice would you give to up and coming female artists? Because it's so many out here that are following in your footsteps, girl.
I would say um, to push through any doubt because everyone's out here doing the same thing. And if you let insecurities win over sharing your art with people, like it's never gonna get out there. So like say yes to everything, every opportunity that people give you, take it. And just don't be afraid. Like or be afraid, but do it anyway.
And another shout out to my colleague Deshaun Stallings. Make sure you guys go and check him out as well too. And shout out to my other colleague Alvin Tit for Tat, this and that. We were talking in the chat and we have something planned. So the moment you guys have been waiting for, you guys can check me, Deshaun Bubs, and Alvin back, Harold, all of us together again. So you guys stay tuned for that. I'm looking forward to that. K Tooks might join the panel as well too. So y'all stay tuned. My brother, but we were talking about music and female artists because we always give women writers. For me, the top five that I love and admire. Of course, you, Emily, you'd be up there. Um, oh, another would be Sade. I love Sade. I'm big on jazz and R&B, and
Mhm.
you have also been able to vary different musical genres as well too, and that add your theater in as well. And that's what it's about. Of course, Celine Dion. Celine,
Mm.
chef's kiss. Chef's kiss. That's all I
Yeah.
can say about Celine. Celine, the dream. Vocally, another would be Whitney Houston. Me and my mom are
Yeah.
big Whitney Houston fans, and I can't listen to "I Will Always Love You" because I will just start crying. It's a ballad, and when you and Emily, you know this about writing ballads, and that was going to be another question that I was going to ask you. What is the key trick to writing a good ballad or a love song? What is the key thing that it has to have to make it stick?
For me, it would be to not focus on how sad it is while you're writing it. I
Mm,
would say speak your truth, and then other people can feel that through your truth. Like it doesn't have to be, oh, I need to make this so sad. Like ballads can also be up tempo. Like if you're saying your truth, like people feel that, and like if you're sharing a part of you that hurts, whether it's in the past or in the moment, people are gonna feel that, no matter like what really. So like just if it comes from the heart, then it's a ballad. If it comes from the heart and it's sad, then it's a ballad. I think.
and it's got to be full of passion for us, the listeners. We listen to this. Fashion Dolls, y'all are all music heads in here. Chef Sky, K Toops, Deshaun, all of y'all, we are all music heads. And when we put on that song, it makes us think about somebody. It makes us just, it can be you're falling in love, and then getting over heartache is a process to getting over heartache. And I know a lot of us can relate to that as it pertains to being just getting out of a breakup and saying, okay, I need to find me. And I know a lot of us have that as well. Um, I know for another would be Tony Braxton, Unbreak My Heart. And I must say the Diane Warren, because you remind me a little bit of her with the way you pen, the way you write. Uh, is the queen of the ballads. And back in
Mm.
the day, it was unheard of for women to be pouring out and writing from a place where it's like, okay, am I going to put myself all the way out there? And I sat down with Ron Katz Spearman, who's penned for Tony Braxton. And I think he worked with Patti LaBelle and Prince, the late Prince, and so many others. But mostly on the women's side, I said, okay, what is it? How do you know how to what we want to say as women? How do you know what we want to say? And it's male writers who are writing our thoughts, our feelings, our emotions, and they're just like, okay, how did you know that about me? And he was just like, I grew up surrounded by women. I grew up with my mom, my sisters, and I would hear them talk about, hear from conversation how they feel, their emotions. And these male writers, these male songwriters will pick up off of these things. They know what we as women we go through, and they put it on paper and they put it in a song. And it's just like, wow, you're speaking to my mind, you're speaking to my soul. And I think that also is what makes the heart of a great songwriter. It's being able to get that and make it
Mm,
relatable to people. So we've covered
yeah.
the music aspect, but let's talk about your acting side, girl, because you are also an actress as well too. Now, who inspired you growing up as an actress? Because I know for me, I only did one horror film, but you've got it down pat, Emily. um, who were some of the women that you looked up to on television? I know for me, one would have to be, and Mickey knows this. I'm a big Marilyn Monroe fan. I love
Mm,
Farrah Fawcett.
yeah.
Lynn Whitfield is so many. Drew Barrymore is another, but it's so many for me that Viola Davis is so many. But for you, who were some of the women that inspired you growing up as an actress?
Definitely Winona Ryder. Love
Oh,
her.
love her.
Mhm. I would say Millie Bobby Brown. I really like her, and at the like we're the same age, so like watching her as a young actress too was really inspiring. Um, I would definitely say around like women and stuff. Yes. I really love, like you said, Marilyn Monroe. Really, really love her stuff is incredible. Um, and honestly, like growing up watching a lot of bootlegs and stuff with swings in, like I wouldn't be able to name them. Things who have been thrown in at the last minute. Like those are like superstars that I've never like I could never even imagine like getting thrown in at the last minute and having to memorize every single role just in case you're thrown on in anything. Like those are the superheroes in musical theater, in my opinion. Like the people who are just swings, I like incredible.
And for it was one movie that I saw since we're talking about Maryland. It's a movie
Mm,
called Sweet Cherry, and I know you are big on theater. So
mhm.
Shirley MacLaine, Paula Kelly, Cheetah Rivera, these women did a scene in the film together, and I'm just like they're all in sync. They're dancing in sync together. So theater. That leads me to the next part of the conversation. If you could recreate, because we've seen so many from Oz to what's the other one? Death Becomes Her. We've seen all of these come live in theater. What is one classic film that you would like to see adapted into theater? Because we've seen them all.
Oh my goodness. You know what? I don't. Have you ever seen Felt Interrupted? I really love that movie.
Oh,
I
Angelina. Yes, yes.
I love it. It's like one of my favorite films.
And of
Okay,
course,
that's
we've seen.
yeah.
Speaking of Angelina Jolie, Moulin Rouge,
Mm,
Chicago. I mean, we've seen them all live in theater. And one I would love to see, since we talked about Maryland, I would like to see Gentleman Prefers Blondes live.
mm, yes,
That would be
definitely.
cool. And
Mhm.
I think Michelle Williams, she embodied her perfectly. So I think that that would be great to see live in theater since we talk about Broadway and theater. But see, the thing is, what's so funny, and I tell my brother K Tooks this them all the time, that when you're how we're doing this interview now live in real time, where there's no, you can't edit it unless you go back and you're sharing a clip or something. But when you're live in theater, you know what I'm gonna say, Emily, and the audience is watching, and you make a mistake. they catch on to it easily, and it's just like, okay, ooh, what do I do now? What do I do now? How do I work this in? You have to keep the show going. The show must go on. You cannot let them see that you messed
Mhm.
up, because the audience, they now have it. When Michelle Williams, the other Michelle Williams and Destiny's Child, because there were two of them. I love the TikTok video they did
Mhm.
together. Uh,
I love it.
she said that the audience will talk back. They will literally talk back and say, no, don't go in there. Don't, like you're in a movie theater. They will literally talk back to
Mhm.
the characters. And they were like, oh, when they know something is about to happen, all of these different things. So they catch on to it. And that is the key thing about doing live theater versus being
Mhm.
on set. It's the same thing, but it's not live in real time with an audience unless you're taping a show. So which do you prefer, the live theater or the being on set? Because I mean, both of them are typically on set.
It's so hard because they're both so different, and there's like good and bads with all of them. But I would say live theater is definitely my favorite. I like that's where I started out, and
Oh,
that's like has a place in my heart.
and you get such a rush from doing it, because it's like, okay, the anticipation, you're nervous at first, but then when you go out on stage and you nail it, you execute it, the audience is just like, bravo, encore,
Mm,
give us another. And then you have to do show after, do that same act every night on different cities. So
mm,
what I love about Broadway is that, again, the creative aspect of the interaction with the audience and being able to sit down and conversate with them, and ask them their feelings after the show, because you do get to meet with the audience members and they'll tell you what they like about your character, what they didn't like about all of these things. But it's so
mhm,
much fun to be able to have that anticipation. And it's intimate. It's intimate because you're getting that feeling from the audience. One
mm,
day they love you, the next day they hate you, all of these things. One of
mhm,
my favorite movies, I think, is Vanessa Williams, who I had the pleasure of sitting down with. She did Kiss of the Spider Woman, so she's worked in live theater. Uh,
mhm,
the Devil Wears Prada, and we know that there is a sequel coming. She's done it live. This is live in theater, and this is last year she did this. So when it was announced that she was Miranda Priestley, I'm like, okay, I'm here for it. She has experience in live theater from doing Kiss of the Spider Woman and so many others. I'm like, okay, uh, I'm here for this. And it's completely
mm,
different than taping a sitcom or how we're doing this interview now, which is live. But the feeling, the anticipation is what the audience expect. So you got to bring that show. You got to bring it. You got to bring your A game. So what is your
mm.
ritual before going out on stage or performing? What do you do to warm up?
Well, I would say it definitely depends on the kind of character that I am playing. If it's a very internally like traumatized character, I do need a lot of emotional prep, and I really need a lot of like time to myself to really get into that character. If it's a comedic character, then it's kind of the same, except like I need a second to like internalize the different setting of the character. Like I play like fiction characters sometimes that are very like loopy, and like it's just kind of like taking a minute to like actually internalize that and getting myself into the headset again. Having done like the emotional prep in the rehearsals beforehand and stuff, like just getting myself back into that mindset. Sometimes, like, I have an acting teacher who said to ask yourself questions, the prompt when you go into the scene. So, like, and keep your answers in mind, as if almost as if the scene that you're about to do is the answer. That's really, like, that's been really helpful to me too. But yeah, it definitely depends on the kind of character.
Absolutely. And not only just that, but I tell actors this all the time. When you are going in for a character, you're having to wear this character's shoes. And us, the viewers, the consumers, we are just like, well, we might know someone who's been in this character's position, or us ourselves might been at that character's position. And it's just like you have to pull from a place where it's personable. It's the same as with songwriting. We can relate to it, and we're just like, that was me. I've been through that, or I know someone who's been through that. So make the character relatable in every way, because when you're putting on that character's shoes, you're having to wear that character's cross. You're no longer, it's just like you transform. I'm no longer Emily. I'm this character now. And then when you're home, you turn it off. Sometimes actors, and it's not intentional, you bring the character home and your family's just like, what is going on here? And it kind of confuses them. So it's like, well, how do you do
Yeah.
this? But it's just like, I'm sorry, I'm myself now. What do you need? So you kind of have to snap out of it. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's funny you say that actually because I actually did a class in college in England that was specifically for that. So like it was a class to help separate the character from the
The
person.
person, yes.
It's very interesting, and it spoke a lot about like the likes of like Dear Evan Hansen. So the girl who played the original mother, the original Heidi, and Dear Evan Hansen had to have a person backstage to tell a joke every time she came off the stage after singing "So Big, So Small," because she said if I get too much into that headset, it affects me like me as a person. So it's like finding little mechanisms to kind of like bring yourself back to you, and that can look different for everyone. But in that person's case, it was like a joke just to like bring your mood up a little bit and stuff. I found that really interesting.
Absolutely. And even to get in the flow of it, if you're doing a scene with someone, to kind of warm them up as well too, because you're so nervous. Like, okay, I've got a co-star in this scene now. How am I going to do this and make it work with my co-star? And that's
Mm,
what it's all about, making it work. And not only that, but making the scene perfect, making it the cherry on top of the cake. And it's just like when that producer and director says, cut, we got it. That's the
mm,
best feeling. It is the best feeling. And I've sat with so many actors, yourself included, and they will go back and say, you know, me and my co-star, we had this exchange on scene, on set, and it was amazing. The dialogue was amazing. The chemistry, not just that, but the chemistry itself is amazing also as well too. So that's what I would say to anybody who is taking from acting and getting into it. What advice or tips would you give to people who want to pursue acting or get into it?
I would say kind of the same like songwriting and stuff. Leave all of your doubt and your insecurities at the door because you're not going to progress in acting unless you kind of come out of yourself and find the kind of the silliest version of yourself, but like the most truthful version, which always isn't easiest to look at or to deal with. But that's where the true acting comes from. So it's really important to leave that kind of like wall that you put up in everyday life and leave it at the door for an acting class or like a scene. And
And
that's
again,
kind of
turning it on,
yeah.
turning it off, learning to separate that character, because sometimes when we bring it home, and we don't do it intentionally, actors don't do it intentionally. It's like you've been on set all day from morning till night the next day.
Mhm.
And it's just like when you go home, your parents or family members are like confused, like, what are you saying to me right now? But
Mhm.
they get it, you know, you're still in character mode, but now I'm myself now. So you have to turn it on
Mhm.
and turn it off. But that character can come home with you. And I know a couple of actors who said, I kind of had to separate the two. I've had to do something, do little things to kind of shake it off because I'm no longer in that mindset. And even
Mhm.
when that producer or director says, we want you to go back to this time period, we want you to go back to this time period. Let's go back to the 1920s. Let's go back to the 70s. We want you to go and you have to talk just like the person or think just like the person. And I know the actress, you guys know the show Welcome to Derry, right? How it's
Mhm.
set back in time, which is based off of the It Clown. The lead actress, she was saying that she took advice from her family members who were in that period or in that time, and she said that she had to really study them and embody them the way the women back then in that time would sit or do their
Mhm.
hair, dress, talk, all of those things. You have to learn that. You have to really study. And as you said, you went to school for this. And there's a lot of actors out here who are saying, I want to get into acting. I want to do this. And there are so many courses out here that can help you if you're looking to get into that. Most definitely. Most definitely. So we've got music. We've got acting. What is next for you in the year of 2026? You have no plans of slowing up.
Well, at the minute, my business is right now for student to be low, but I also think about them for university, uh, like art universities in Manhattan. So I kind of like pose and they paint me, so that's been really fun. It's been a new experience.
And you said New York. You're in the right place. New York is full of opportunity. It's full of so much talent, and I can't wait for theater time to roll around. I know there's going to be a lot of shows that are going to be in production, live theater, Broadway. So who knows? Who knows? They could be tapping you for the next Gentlemen Prefer Blinds or whatever else, which I really would love to see in Broadway. Of course, we've seen The Wizard of Oz. We've seen. The Wiz, we've seen all of them, but I would love to see other classic films. Cat on a Hot Tin Rooftop, maybe come in 2026. So,
Mm.
Othello, I mean, it's so many that I would like to see come to live theater production. So, who knows? Who knows? The skies is the limit. And you're already in photography. So, full of talent. And I have family there in New York, so I know when Fashion Week rolls around, it's going to be hectic. I know when
Yes.
theater, when it's time for live theater and Broadway, it's going to be hectic, especially around this time with the winter months. And I know a lot of people are just like, okay, what do I have to do? My creative vision, my creative juices. So, creativity for you, how do you keep that creativity intact? And what do you do to make sure, okay, I'm always creating because I know for us as writers, as creators, whomever, we sometimes get writer's block, but it's just like it's got to be something out there that can influence me. So for you, what do you do when you get that feeling, that
I
ick?
would say always consume the media that you try and put out. So like I said, like TikTok and stuff. Like I'm not saying go and doom scroll through TikTok, but like find new artists, find new actors, new singers, which honestly is actually a lot online right now. Go and see new shows, like get a save up and get a rush ticket. Like if you're in New York, but like watch new TV shows that are coming out. Like seeing talented people makes you want to better yourself too. It inspires you. So like that's a really big thing too. Consuming it as much as you produce it. I would say.
Absolutely. And my, I don't know if she's still here. When I did my interview with her, one shout outs to my girl, Faith is the Substance. When she interviewed me, she was like, I'm so, you've been an inspiration to me. So you never know who you're inspiring, and you can pull inspiration to so many people out here that are watching you. My brother K Tukes, shout outs to him, who's been an inspiration to me also, who has been doing this a little bit longer than I have. And me, I started like right after high school in my teen years doing Style by Stevie talk show, doing this platform here. And I said, I want to make sure that I'm encouraging people as well too to be inspired to go after whatever it is they do. And as creatives, I I know I do Pinterest. I'm pretty sure you do it too, Emily. I go on Pinterest for fashion
Mm.
inspiration, for beauty, hair, whatever I want to know. I'm always creating mood boards, always working with my team, my glam squad to make sure that okay, do I want to go for this? Want to go for this? So as an artist, you always have to make sure that you are putting things into perspective. And I just recently had an interview with another actor by the name of Malik Frazier. Shout outs to Malik. That was such a great interview. He was like, you like me, we both had something in common. And that is we like to think ahead. You are also the same way. You like to think ahead of the curve. And being an artist in this business, anybody who's watching, it is all about thinking ahead of the curve. Um, and I hope you don't get me for this. I'm gonna shout out my brother King Jives, who is gonna be coming on the show pretty soon, Demario King Jives. And he was just like, Sister, why do you plan them so far ahead? Why do you plan your interviews and your shows so far ahead in advance? And I said, I like to be ahead of the curve. Every artist or creator likes to be ahead of the curve. And that's what it's all about, making sure that you are staying on top of your game. Because when you start off in the business, it's like You're a freshman to the business. You don't know. You're new fish in water. And then you go through your sophomore phase. It's like going through high school. And then once you've graduated, you went off to college, you're off on your own. You got it. And being able to
Yeah.
accept constructive criticism, that's what makes great artistry as well too. So
Mm.
what other goals are you looking forward to in the year of 2026, Emily? Because girl, I see so much bigger for you. And when I tell you your star is going to burst, you are going to be shocked. Like the
Oh, I love
sky's
it.
the limit. So what else are you manifesting for this year?
Well, I really want to do more in comedy because I don't usually do comedy. So I would really like to delve into that. And I did a play last year for the Women's Playwright Collective in Staten Island, and play that I was in actually won the festival. So we're going to be doing that again this year. It's like a fully fledged, like a bigger scale production, and that's kind of a comedy piece. So I'm really excited. But yeah, I really want to get into like more comedy, more fun pieces. I'm always very like truthful, raw kind of like characters and stuff. So I just want to have fun. And I definitely want to do a lot more gigs. Like I do a lot of gigs in bars and stuff with like my song, so I want to continue to do that because that's really fun. And I always meet new people when I do that. And then when I go to other gigs and some of the same people are there, and I'm like, I know you, and they're like, oh, I know you too, and it's like really nice to see because it's a big but it's a small community, so it's always nice to you know support each other too. And yeah, I think that's everything that I'm thinking of consciously, but like I'm excited to see what comes up that I would never expect to have happened. So because that happens a lot too.
And it's more to come. It is more to come, and I'm manifesting it for you. Like, and as you said, linking up with other artists that you've already met and come in passing with. You never know who could walk in these bars, who could walk in, who's watching. And we were just having a conversation not too long ago about this, about you never know the impact on people who are watching your platform, who are listening to your music, who are watching you, because they too are taking this in, and then they share it with the next person and the next person, and word goes around. So you never know. And then you're in the Big Apple, so it's the city of opportunity, and you never know who's roaming the streets because it's so especially around this time when it's about that time, about theater or fashion week, whatever it may be. So you guys just have to stay tuned and keep following Emily and more. So definitely, definitely. So,
Mm-hmm.
fashion dolls, we're going to take some questions from the audience. Do y'all have any questions for myself or Emily here? And a very special shout outs to each and every one of you. Shout outs to Deshaun. Shout outs to K Toops. Did I miss anybody? Shout outs to Faith. Make sure y'all go and subscribe to her channel. Shout outs to Frederick Douglass, my colleague, Now's the Time, who was here with me last week, and we did a great show. So y'all check that out. Um, Shout outs to Mickey Sola, Original Magazine UK, for setting this up. She told me so much about you. And she said, I have an artist. And she was just like, this is what she said. She described it because me and Mick, I call her Boss Lady. I said, Boss Lady, what you got for me, girl? What you got? And she said, I have an artist, a female artist, that I would love for you to sit down with. I said, I'd love to have her on my show. And I went back and I reviewed your videos. I'm like, okay, she reminds me of Lindsay Webster, a little bit of Tori Kelly. She's a mix of all of these artists, and it's another as well too. Summer, so her name is Summer. I've had her on my show as well too. So shout outs to her, Summer Rain Oaks, and she does a lot of covers. And then she got to the point where she was doing background for one of my favorite singers, Diana Ross. So shout outs to Summer.
Wow. Wow.
I'm like, girl, you have to tell me the story. How did that happen? Like just like Beyonce is a consummate perfectionist, Miss Ross is a consummate perfectionist. She wanted her dance steps to be right, her dancers and her vocalist in the back to be right. Everything had to be right. So shout outs to her. Summer Rona. Summer Rona is her name, and I had her on my show. And Summer has done a lot of covers from being able to work with the Jacksons, and then being able to work with Diana Ross. That I'm just like, wow, girl, you doing background for Miss Ross, the boss herself. And she told me all about it. So y'all go and check that interview out. It is up here on my channel, Summer Rona. And we've got another amazing female vocalist here, Emily Nolan. So she told me a whole lot about you and some of the other guests that I have lined up this week. And I said, I would love to have her on my show. I said, Boss Lady, do you have anybody? And she said, it was you. It was you who she recommended to me. So shout outs to Mickey Solar, Love Hollywood USA, Original Magazine UK. And I remember when she reached out to me to even write for her publication, it was a big, I was like, okay. And I think she found me off of Instagram and through recommendation of somebody. And she took a look at one of my posts. I think it was on Yves Saint Laurent, one of the designers. And she DM'd me and she asked me, would she like for me to write for the publication? I said, sure, I would love to write for your publication. And since then, the rest has been history. It's like article after article after article. And when she messages me, because Mickey has a coded way of messaging me and letting me know I've got somebody for you to interview. You know the movie Mean Girls. We
Oh.
have the Mean Girls thing with the notebook, the little heart. Or and the lipstick kiss. She'll send it to me, and then she'll be like, "Okay, what you got available for this day, for this month?" And the rest was history. That's how we got your interview set. And again, shout outs to her for giving all of us amazing opportunities. Mickey, if you ever see this, we want to say thank you for believing in each and every one of us and giving us an opportunity. I told her what you created is like a gumbo because a gumbo has so many different things in it, so many different ingredients. You're going to have peppers, you're going to have tomatoes and spice. Everybody brings their own thing. And I said, by you, everybody's different cultures, different backgrounds, different lanes of entertainment. You have Martin, you have Lijon, you have Emily, you have Ellen, who I had on my show last year, and she's coming back again this year. Um, you have Mike, you have Stevie, you have so many others that are in the group. Ildiko, who I had the pleasure of sitting down with, Ildiko Mile. And I'm like, what you did was genius because we're like a family. We're not all in the same country or city, but we're all scattered out. Sudi, who was supposed to be coming on, so I mean Martin Nuza. It's so many. And I said, what you did is you've crossed over to the United States of America because of me and a few others that are in the USA, yourself included too. All of us have made that publication. My mom even wants a copy of it. Like the magazine is perfect. If you are a fashion girly like myself and you love your coffee table books, this would go great on your coffee table.
Mhm.
So y'all go and pick up the issue of Original Magazine UK, Love Hollywood USA. It is amazing. And again, boss lady, thank you. If you ever, because I sent it to her, so she's gonna see it. Thank you,
Mhm.
boss lady, for making this interview happen. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Absolutely. And before we wrap, Emily, what are some gems of wisdom that you would give to people in 2026? Because this is the year, and I must say 2026 is a year of awakening. And the reason why I told people green hearts, because green is the color for this season. Last year it was silver, blue, and black, but I said, no, I want green. Green for me means nature, it means renewal. So,
Mhm.
what advice would you give to people as it pertains to renewal and creativity in the new year of 2026?
I would say that nothing worth having comes easily. So if something is hard, it means that it's worth having it. And to say yes to everything, every new opportunity, no matter how scary and big it is, you've got that for a reason. So
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I would add on to what Emily just said, because I'm going to bring you back on my show, girl, and it'll be in the spring. So I'm going to bring you back on the show. Um, Dreams. We all have dreams and aspirations, and a lot of people think that dreaming is for kids, but I say you're never too old to tap into that inner child. We all have an inner child. I know for me, and I'll use this as an example. When Christmas rolls around, we turn into an 8-year old kid all over again, going through the toy store. We used to remember our favorite toys, what our parents would do for us, all of these different things. We tap into that. And I want to say to each and every one of us, tap into that inner child. Don't be afraid to tap into that inner child because trust me, you have to live life. And I want each and every one of us to live life. And for the state of the world, you only get one chance at being happy. So continue to be happy, continue to be joyous, continue to find your joy and your peace. And as I would tell my mom, make sure that you're protecting your peace and not overwhelming yourself because trust me, I've been there. You can't overwhelm yourself. But find that
Mm.
creativity, find that outlet, and practice it accordingly, most definitely. So if you want to get into acting, like Emily has taken a course and she went to school for this, you can do it too. It's not too late to follow your dreams. And I tell people this all the time: live life through fire. Live life through fire because you only get one shot. And trust me, this was my shot right here. And, I've gotten plenty of opportunities, just all of the strength of doing this platform. And I'm so thankful immensely. You'll see the the immense that come your way from just putting your creativity out there in the universe and helping and encouraging other people. So that's what I want to encourage you guys to do. So without further ado, Emily, this was such a fabulous chat. I had a great time, girl, and I would love to invite you back to the dollhouse. And we're gonna set that up with Mix. So let everyone know where they can follow you and check your music out and everything.
So I'm mostly on Instagram at Emily underscore N or Emily underscore N. You can also find me on TikTok under Emily Nolan too. That's where I post a lot of covers and my songs and stuff. And yeah, I thank you so much for having me. It's been so fun. And
You are
thank you all
welcome.
guys for coming to see me. I'm so happy. Thank
Thank
you.
you, and you're welcome, girl. And for each and every one of y'all, fashion dolls, Chef Sky, K Tooks, Deshawn, Faith, Frederick, now's the time. I love y'all all so much. And Boss Lady Mickey, thank you so much for setting this up. Again, follow Original Magazine UK on Instagram and all outlets everywhere. And I will see y'all tomorrow with another beauty. We have Rashida Randall joining me tomorrow also for some girl talk. We're starting the week off with the ladies. We got my girl Emily, and then tomorrow my girl Rashida will be here. So y'all make sure y'all tune in. And then we have the amazing Damian T. Raven will be joining me as well too. So that is it, fashion dolls. I will see y'all tomorrow. Take care.